Welcome back to Motivational Wealth. It's awesome to have you with us as we jump into this deep dive. And today we're going to be exploring some seriously powerful ideas about building wealth. And we're taking inspiration from a recent interview with Patrick Bet David. Had you heard of him?
Oh, yeah. Huge entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. Really fascinating guy. And as we kind of unpack his journey, it really makes you think about that idea of, like a transformative gift, something that can like fundamentally change your future.
I like that.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like when you think about the gift of salvation for many people, that's like a new path, profound hope. And in a similar way, understanding and applying those key principles of wealth building that can be like unlocking a future of, financial freedom and opportunity. So we're going to unpack some of Bet David's insights today and hopefully, get you thinking about how these principles can apply to your own life.
Sounds good.
All right. So to give you an idea of, the level of success we're talking about here, Bet David casually mentioned that in his company's best year, they brought in a cool $250 million.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
250 million. So that right there shows you the kind of potential we're talking about when these principles are like, scaled effectively.
Absolutely. I mean, to reach that level of revenue, it takes a really solid foundation, and then those strategies have to be implemented consistently. It's like, a testament to the power of just sound business practices, like
Yeah.
actually knowing what you're doing and sticking to it.
Yeah. And he shared this one story that really stood out to me about a key advantage in wealth building. Back in 2018, he bought a property, and this was for $25.2 million.
Cash.
Wow.
Cash.
Straight up. And get this, he estimates that now it's worth somewhere between 40 and 50 million. So, I mean, that immediate access to capital clearly,
Yeah.
a huge door for him.
Oh, for sure. That story, I think it highlights the importance of what we often call financial flexibility, right?
Mm.
It's about having those liquid assets so you can move quickly when those opportunities come up.
Good.
And they can pop up anywhere, right? Real estate, business, even, other investments. The point is to be ready to capitalize on those moments that other people, they might miss out on simply because they don't have the funds readily available.
And what's really inspiring about all this is his background. The interviewer, I thought this was interesting, they actually framed the whole conversation around Bet David's journey from, and I'm quoting here, being dead broke as an immigrant
Mhm.
to building and selling a company for several hundred million.
That's quite the turnaround.
Right. They even called the interview, get this, a masterclass on all things business, from sales to negotiations to money.
Makes you want to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. But you know what I think the biggest takeaway from that is that these principles, these aren't exclusive.
Mm.
They can be learned and applied by anyone, regardless of like where they're starting from.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Bet David's story, it challenges that whole, idea that financial success is predetermined by your circumstances. It's like,
Yeah.
no, if you have the right knowledge, if you're willing to work hard and learn and adapt, you can achieve some pretty incredible upward mobility. It's inspiring.
Totally. And one thing that he really hammered home was the power of like focused effort. He said, and this is a quote, concentration builds wealth. What do you think he meant by that?
Well, he actually used his own experience in the financial services industry as an example. You see, initially his agency dealt with like a whole bunch of different financial products, but then he took a step back, right? And he realized that they needed to like laser focus on just one thing, life insurance.
Yeah.
And that decision allowed them to really channel all their energy and resources, all their expertise into becoming specialists in that one area.
And I mean, the results like kind of speak for themselves, right? He went from having like just 66 licensed agents to 60,000.
Right.
And that ultimately led to the successful sale of his company. And I feel like that's such a powerful example of how, narrowing your focus, it can lead to this kind of crazy growth and deep market penetration. It's like you're dedicating yourself to that one vital principle and really going all in on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, by doing that, by concentrating their efforts, they were able to, to develop this unmatched expertise, refine their processes, how they operated, and ultimately they built this dominant position within that specific niche. And it teaches us something, I think. It's like sometimes achieving more actually involves doing less, but doing it with incredible focus, incredible depth.
Yeah. He also talked about the flip side of that, right? Like the potential dangers of not having readily available funds, especially when, the economy changes, things shift. And his story about that property we talked about, the one he bought in cash, it really like brings that point home. He was able to act fast when others might have been, held back because they didn't have financing or they lacked a liquid capital.
Right. That's a key part of any, solid financial strategy. While long-term investments are obviously crucial, you have to maintain a good level of liquidity. It provides a safety net, and more importantly, it gives you the ability to jump on opportunities that you might not have anticipated. It's about having options when things get unpredictable or when, something really unique presents itself.
And this leads perfectly into what he considers to be his best financial advice. Always, and I'm quoting here, always have cash.
It's simple, but it's powerful.
Yeah. And to illustrate that point, he shared this. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He bought two Wayne Gretzky rookie cards, like out of the blue for $540,000.
Those are probably worth a bit more now.
Oh, yeah. He later sold them for a record $2.2 million, just like that.
Yeah.
And that right there is a prime example of what happens when you're prepared. You have that cash ready to go. It fuels those big wins.
It's a testament to being cash rich. He was able to seize that moment and acquire a really valuable asset because he had the financial freedom to act quickly. I mean, that's an incredible return. But it underscores a larger point. Being prepared, having that capital ready, it often puts you in the best position to take advantage of opportunities when they arise.
Beyond the practical strategies, Bet David also talked about, the mindset that's essential for building wealth. And he really emphasized the importance of questioning and overcoming any limiting beliefs that we might have picked up along the way, from past experiences, opinions of others, even family history, things like that. He specifically encouraged listeners to, reject those negative narratives, especially the ones about, your upbringing or family history, things like that. That stuff can really hold you back.
Yeah, I think that's a profoundly important point because often it's those beliefs about money, those beliefs about our own potential for financial success that shape our actions. And ultimately, they shape our results. So challenging those self-limiting narratives and really embracing a mindset of possibility, that's fundamental. It's about, breaking through those financial barriers and realizing that your past, it doesn't have to define your future.
Right. I mean, it really makes you think about how powerful our mindset is in shaping our reality. And just like these principles that we've been talking about, they offer this tangible pathway to financial well-being. But it all starts with having the right beliefs, that foundation, and then taking decisive action.
I agree. It's a journey, right? It's a process that requires both understanding and a proactive approach. It's not just about knowing, it's about doing.
Totally. Whether we're talking about, personal finance or achieving any big life goal, it's that combination of knowledge, the right mindset, and consistent action that really drives meaningful change.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I think we've covered some incredibly valuable ground today, exploring those key insights from Patrick Bet-David, from the power of focused concentration to the critical importance of having cash on hand, to cultivating that empowering mindset. I mean, his experiences offer some really practical lessons that anyone can apply.
It really all comes back to those fundamental principles, right?
Yeah.
Understanding how wealth is created, being prepared to act on those opportunities, and believing in your own ability to achieve financial success. I think Bet David's journey really embodies all of that.
Absolutely. And, his advice to always have cash, that's timeless, regardless of what's happening in the economy. It's like a universal truth when it comes to building wealth.
And that Gretzky card story, man, that one sticks with you.
It really does, doesn't it? It's just such a clear illustration of the potential that comes with financial preparedness and the ability to just, make a move when the time is right.
For sure.
And I think his point about challenging those limiting beliefs, that's so crucial because it reminds us that we have the power to shape our financial future. It starts with recognizing those negative narratives that we might have internalized and actively choosing to challenge them.
Yeah, overcoming those mental barriers,
Yeah.
that's often the biggest and most important step towards actually achieving those financial goals.
So thank you for being here with us today as we took this deep dive into the world of wealth building. We hope you found these insights valuable and that they'll give you some motivation and guidance on your own journey. And of course, thank you for subscribing to Motivational Wealth. We're dedicated to bringing you the kind of motivation that can truly change your life, the insights that can empower your future. So we encourage you to think about these principles that we've discussed. Consider the actions you can take today, starting right now. What's one area, just one, where you could maybe bring in a little more focus and potentially unlock a whole new level of growth for yourself?
That's a great question to end on. Something for our listeners to really ponder as they, go about their day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until next time, keep those goals in sight, stay motivated. And as always, thanks for listening to Motivational Wealth.
We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.